To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So, got some bad news that I'll tell you about here in a little bit. But first I thought I'd show you around the property. Got a break in between the rain. So we've been trying to catch up on some chores. Carolyn wanted to sprinkle some fertilizer on the plants. This clay soil for her garden, it just has no nutrients in it. And so we actually bought bags of soil, this topsoil, from Walmart to see if that would help, but it didn't seem to have a lot of nutrients. We bought the cow manure for nutrients. She's really aggravated about how yellow all the plants look. I told her they look normal to me, but she doesn't believe me. Now, something I found really neat was she decided she wanted to raise potatoes. We had these bags that we had with the chicken feed, so she planted potatoes in the bag. And as they grow, she can add more soil into it, unroll the bag, and then when we're ready to harvest the potatoes, we can just dump the bag out into the garden, adding more soil into it. She said she saw that online on YouTube or something. And hopefully this year we'll have a good production garden, and then next year we can expand upon it and grow it, move it. She wants to make it bigger this way and that way. And we just got to keep adding soil to it. And as you know, I had to cut all these cedar trees down. You see all the dead cedar trees here. And that way we could have more sun in the evening time, because we have trees on both sides of us. We got trees here and trees here. I've said that many times, but somebody will say, why'd you do that? So, and we were going to use the cedar tree poles to build us a lean-to up on our wood pile. So we were going to have a covering over the wood pile. But I tell you, there's just no way to do it this year. I don't have enough cedar trees. I mean, I've tried to think of everything I could think of. I have enough cedar trees for the poles. So I was going to dig holes in the ground. Originally, I was just going to use buckets, but I decided I was going to dig 4 holes in the ground to make the 4 corners. Now, I would have to have poles in the center too. And then I was going to concrete those 4 poles. And then the rest of them, I would just put in a bucket of concrete. I had enough cedar trees for that, but then I got to looking at lumber prices, and they just keep going up. 2 years ago, lumber prices were $2 a board, maybe even less than that. I think when we built the camper, I bought them for $1.79. That was 3 or 4 years ago. Then last year, they were $6. We built a house, 2x4s were $6 a piece. There's a lumber shortage. And of course, when I was building the house, nobody believed me. Nobody. I mean, I got arguments from everyone. My Home Depot's got them for whatever. So now everybody knows they've went up in price, because now they're up to $8 to $10 a board. I don't want to spend that kind of money on a lean-to cover firewood. So I've got a different idea, and I'm going to explain that to you here in a bit. But the first thing I got to do is I got to move these poles from this location here, and I got to get them down into the woods. So I got my lawnmower out today, and I wanted to do some maintenance to it first, so I put it up on some blocks, and I got the 8-hour maintenance done, which was just grease all the Zerk fittings. And I know a lot of people are going to say, no, you need to change the oil the first time around. John Deere's owner's manual specifically says do not change the oil until 50 hours, even on your first oil change. The oil's $40, the filter and all the maintenance items. So I got all the grease Zerks greased. I'm gonna pull these cedar trees down into the woods, get them out of the way, because I need this area up here so the chickens can feed. And then later I'll use those cedar trees for something else. Okay, so I got them all moved down here. That was pretty neat. I really enjoyed that. I mean, I knew it could do it. The way I look at lawnmowers is if I can do something by hand, then the lawnmower should be able to do it also. I can pull these around. That would have been a lot of pulling. The biggest log I had, it was pretty heavy. I decided to pull from the bumper. And the reason is because on the John Deere, I bought that rear end bucket holder. And so on the first set of videos you saw me pulling that from the bucket holder. Well, that thing can only hold 40 pounds. So all these smaller logs, if I could pick it up by hand, I figured, well, that's easily 40 pounds. But this big one here, it was pretty heavy. And so I decided to use the front bumper on that one. That front bumper I bought, but it's got some beefy metal on it. And so I decided I was going to back that one down using the bumper. That worked out really well. Now I tell you, those tire chains has made all the difference in the world for that lawnmower. It has now made it a working machine, something that I can really use. The weakest component, I think, on these lawnmowers is the transmission. The instruction says it can tow around 300 pounds. I know everybody likes the chickens, but there's Frenchie right in the front there. This tent idea gave me an idea for our wood pile. It's 6 foot tall, 8 foot tall in the center. I can stand up in there. And Carolyn and I can pick that up. So my thinking is I should do that with the wood pile. If I just made little sectional pieces that Carolyn and I could pick up. So a 4 foot wide, 8 foot long, 6 foot tall box, I guess is what you would call it. It would be opened except for the top. I would use that clear plastic that we used on the porch. And then I could build another one, another 8 feet, take my time with it. That would save me on a lot of lumber. And I think I got enough lumber I could do that with. But if I were to build an entire structure to go across this whole thing, I wouldn't even come close to having enough. I got 2x4s in there. I can split them in half, make them into 2x2s, much like I did the well house. And Carolyn and I could just come up and pick it up and move it if we ever decided to have a different wood pile. Of course, I wouldn't have really a shed here. We talked about what about the lawnmower. I might be able to build another one just for the lawnmower. But I'm really liking this idea of everything being movable. So far, everything that I built, we can move, including our house. Porch roof, just have to unscrew it from the trailer frame, cut off the concrete buckets, and it would just roll off. And this is the plastic I was talking about. That's what we would use for these. So we're not going to build the woodshed or the lean-to out of those poles. I really wanted to, but the financial instability that we have right now, I'm just not confident that the markets are good. And with board prices being so high, I just think it's a waste of money. So that's my bad news for the day. I'm really disappointed I can't do that, but at least we have a backup plan. So just like always, society always gets in the way of anybody being able to live their dreams, but I'm here to encourage you that you can. And in this case, I'm not backing down. Just got to change my plans a little bit. And Carolyn and I like the idea of having these movable covers. So I hope I can inspire you to keep thinking, even when society drags you down, so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.